The eerie possibility of beings living inside our blue marble planet is always in our wildest imagination. Is the Earth actually hollow? Well, this was once a serious scientific theory. The idea now attracts the conspiracy-minded with tales of giants living within the planet. A 19th-century proponent of the hollow Earth theory posited that aurora borealis were created by gas escaping from the inner Earth. From time immemorial, people have believed that there is another world lying just beneath the surface of our planet. To a number of cultures, the ancient Greeks for one, it is a dark place filled with the souls of the dead. But most of those early beliefs were metaphorical or mythological in origin. Modern science holds that the Earth is an unbroken series of layers, crusts, and liquid magma surrounding a dense, hot core made primarily of iron and nickel. But in the 17th century, some of the leading scientific minds of the time had a different theory, that the planet is actually hollow. This idea has proved incredibly durable. Even today, there is a small cadre of hollow Earth believers who are fighting valiantly to validate their ideas through books, websites, meetings, and some extremely ambitious travel plans. Possibly the first person to scientifically speculate about a hollow Earth was none other than Edmund Halley, of Halley's Comet fame. Proposed in 1692 as a way of explaining anomalous compass readings, Halley's theory was that the planet is a series of nested, spherical shells, spinning in different directions, all surrounding a central core. In his estimation, based on readings of the magnetic field and what he knew of the gravitational pull of the Sun and the Moon on the Earth, this model could account for any inaccuracies in his readings of the magnetic fields of the planet. He also posited that the space between each shell may have had luminous atmospheres capable of supporting life. An illustration from an 1878 book on John Cleves Sims Jr.'s theories depicts the planet as a series of concentric spheres, demonstrating that the Earth is hollow, habitable within, and widely open about the poles. Halley's strange idea was expanded upon over the next few centuries, tossing out the messy view of multiple spheres for the vision of the entire interior of the Earth as just one, impossibly large cavern. Generally, this new view of the hollow Earth is accompanied by the theory of a small sun that hangs in the very center, creating a lush, livable environment on the flip side of the Earth's surface. According to a number of hollow Earth websites, this vision was developed among famous mathematicians and scientists such as Leonard Euler in the 18th century and Sir John Leslie in the 19th century, although the sources for these accreditations seem to be somewhat nebulous. Regardless of where it originated, the model of a hollow Earth managed to grow and survive. In 1818, John Cleves Sims Jr. published his Circular No. 1, declaring to the world that the Earth is hollow. Sims, a veteran of the War of 1812 and an unsuccessful trader, soon became maybe the most famous and successful proponent of the hollow Earth theory. His initial vision of the Earth's interior was like a simplified version of Halley's multi-layered model, with the exception that Sims' version included huge holes at the north and south poles which allowed access to the hidden world inside. These holes, his unique addition to hollow Earth theory, would even come to be known as Sims holes. In his very first declaration, Sims proposed to mount an expedition to the North Pole, where he was sure they could locate one of these apertures and gain access to the inner Earth. He too believed that the interior of the Earth not only could, but did support life, saying in Circular No. 1, that the inside of the Earth would be stocked with thrifty vegetables and animals if not men. Sims believed that his theory was not science fiction, but science fact, and that it applied not only to the Earth, but to all planetary bodies. To him, the whole universe was hollow. "I declare the Earth is hollow and habitable within," Sims wrote in 1818. He added that he was ready to explore the hollow, if the world will support and aid me. Even in the 19th century, Sims' theories were greeted with derision from the public and scientific community, but he would not be silenced. Sims continued to campaign, giving lectures and publishing letters about the hollow Earth, always angling for an expedition to the North Pole that would prove his theory. Barreling right through the skeptics, Sims was eventually able to convince enough people of the possibility of his hollow Earth that in 1822, he and his supporters actually got Congress to vote on funding for his expedition. The grant was shot down, but Sims' belief in the inner Earth never died. He continued to campaign for the theory until his death in 1849. Even after Sims' death, his idea continued to thrive amongst believers. Students and admirers of Sims' work, and even Sims' own son, continued to publish materials explaining the increasingly odd theory. One bizarre offshoot of the traditional hollow earth theory, put forth by natural healer and eventual cult leader, Cyrus Teed, even inverted the idea, devising a cellular cosmology that placed the entire universe inside a shell. According to Teed's thinking, humans were actually living on the inside of the hollow earth, looking up at the universe, which itself was just an illusion created by a strange solar mechanism. The stars were just reflections of the mechanism's light. Teed's theory managed to gain enough traction that a small cult developed around him, called the Koreshan Unity, after Teed renamed himself Koresh. The Koreshans established an extensive colony in Estero, Florida in 1894, but most of the community disbanded after Teed's death in 1908. In 1822, Congress considered funding an expedition to find the entrance to the inner Earth. The vote failed, and Sims never made the trip. Both Teed and Sims still have monuments dedicated to their work and beliefs. The location where the Koreshan community made their home is now protected as the Koreshan State Historic Site, while Ohio's Hollow Earth Monument is dedicated to Sims' work. Even as unbelievable as the beliefs of Sims and Teed were, as the hollow earth theory grew into the 20th century, it began to take on an even more supernatural air. In 1864, Jules Verne published A Journey to the Center of the Earth, which proposed a weird world inside our own, and while it was not the first work of fiction to propose such a thing, it could be argued that the first such work of fiction regarding the weird world inside of our own is Dante's poem, Inferno. Verne's work quickly became the benchmark for such fantasy tales, giving steam to a whole sub-genre of subterranean science fiction. Many of these stories use the theories of Haley and Sims as jumping-off points for tales of weird prehistoric jungles and highly advanced, lost races of humans. The 1892 novel, The Goddess of Athvatabar, or The History of the Discovery of the Interior World, used Sims' model as a basis for a tale of a rich interior world inhabited by a race of spiritually enlightened beings. This vision of the hollow earth would seem to be one of the prime inspirations of many of the current tropes among modern hollow earth theory. Modern belief in the hollow earth theory can be a bit hard to pin down, encompassing such disparate subjects as the Northern Lights, and even an escaping Hitler, but despite the variations, a few themes do seem to be common among hollow earth truthers. Among most believers, the inside of the hollow earth is a lush, tropical paradise that very likely houses an advanced race of humans, aliens and giants. No matter where they come from, they are generally characterized as peace-loving, and advanced, far beyond those on the Earth's surface. The perfect climate believed to exist in the hollow earth is said to produce animals and people that are larger and far more healthy than those on the surface. This inner world is sometimes called, or associated with Agartha, a legendary city at the Earth's core, often tied to Eastern mysticism. My conception of the hollow earth, based on my research, is that the shell of the Earth is about 800 miles thick, from the outside to the inner surface, says Rodney Clough, author of World Top Secret, Our Earth is Hollow. He believes that half the planet is taken up by surface weight, and then there's empty space, and then, something else. Suspended in the center of that hollow is an interior sun, that is divided by day and night sides, he says. If it is to be believed that the Earth is in fact hollow, and home to all manner of super race and megafauna, why have we never contacted them, or gone there? According to Clough, we have, but an international banking conspiracy has worked to cover up the existence of the hollow Earth, and hide evidence of any Sims holes. This sort of paranoid, conspiratorial thinking, tends to be another hallmark among modern hollow Earth believers. Through the mid-2000s and into the early 2010s, Clough was a part of a long gestating expedition, known most recently as the North Pole Inner Earth Expedition. Unfortunately, after a number of setbacks, including backers and members of the team falling victim to calamities, ranging from cancer to fatal plane crashes, the expedition was put on hiatus. As of 2022, a team of Hollow Earth advocates was again planning to mount an expedition on a nuclear-powered icebreaker. This expedition was previously delayed by the pandemic. They believe there is a hole in the sea floor, which will allow access to the interior of the Earth, under the near-constant cloud cover and ice of the Arctic Sea, 7 days out from Murmansk, Russia. Even if they don't find it, the Hollow Earth theory will likely continue on. Until humans can actually peer into the Earth's core, who can say that it's not filled with Germans or aliens or a very small sun? The strange, Hollow Earth, case of Admiral Richard Byrd. There comes a time when the rationality of men must fade into insignificance and one must accept the inevitability of the truth. I am not at liberty to disclose the following documentation at this writing. Perhaps it shall never see the light of public scrutiny, but I must do duty and record here for all to read one day. In a world of greed and exploitation of mankind can no longer suppress that which is truth. Medal of Honor recipient Admiral Richard E. Byrd allegedly wrote his encounter with a lost civilization in Antarctica. According to Hollow Earth theorists, Byrd met ancient race underground in the South Pole. How was this left out from Byrd's mission, Operation Highjump? Could it be one big hoax conspiracy theorists love to fantasize? According to Byrd's diary, the government ordered Byrd to remain silent for what he witnessed during his Arctic assignment. March 11, 1947. I have just attended a staff meeting at the Pentagon. I have stated fully my discovery and the message from the master. All is duly recorded. The President has been advised. I am now detained for several hours, 6 hours, 39 minutes, to be exact. I am interviewed intently by top security forces and a medical team. It was an ordeal. I am placed under strict control via the national security provisions of this United States of America. I am ordered to remain silent in regard to all that I have learned, on the behalf of humanity. Incredible. I am reminded that I am a military man and I must obey orders. After many polar accomplishments, Byrd organized Operation Highjump in 1947. The objective: construct an American training and research facility in the South Pole. A simple military task, right? Some say the American government sent their troops to the South Pole for any evidence of the rumored German Base 211. Nazis were fascinated with anything regarding the Aryan race. They traveled all over the world including Antarctica to learn more of alleged origins. The Germans did make their mark in the South Pole. However, what they have discovered doesn't compare to what Byrd recorded in his diary. For thousands of years, people all over the world have written legends about Agartha, sometimes called Agartha or Agarthi, the underground city. Did Byrd find it? He met the master, the city's leader, who told him of his concerns about the surface world. The master told Byrd, "Our interest rightly begins just after your race exploded the first atomic bombs over Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan. It was that alarming time we sent our flying machines, the Flugelrads, to your surface world to investigate what your race had done. You see, we have never interfered before in your race's wars and barbarity. But now we must, for you have learned to tamper with a certain power that is not for your man, mainly that of atomic energy. Our emissaries have already delivered messages to the power of your world, and yet they do not heed." Apparently, the government knew about Agartha before Byrd. According to the master, places such as Tibet, the Great Pyramid of Giza, and the North Pole all have tunnels leading to Agartha. What else did the master teach Byrd? What about the rest of the Operation Highjump crew? Byrd didn't uncover the underground world alone. Whether the whole Hollow Earth story is fact or fiction, it's great to imagine there are still hidden civilizations out there in the world. That concludes our today's episode in Story Time. Stay tuned for another tale of extraordinary and chilling mystery unfold. Till next time. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment and suggestion below. Please don't forget to subscribe and click the subscribe button.